everybody, welcome or welcome back. I'm Jem, this is my creative space and thank you for joining me. Now this is the first video in a new series, and this series is going to be all about interactive elements for our junk journals. Now what do I mean by that? Very simply, it's going to be things that you can put into your junk journal that you interact with or that do something. So it might be that something pulls out or folds out or pops up. So it's going to be things that hopefully are just a little bit different and going to add a little bit of fun and excitement to our journals. Now, what have I got here? Well, this, as you will see, it says scrapbook photo album. And I picked this up in an op shop some time ago and I haven't used it. But what I'm going to be doing alongside this series is creating a source book. So, source as in not what you put on your dinner, source as in a reference point. And you know, the reason I'm going to be doing that is that sometimes we create these really cool things and we'll put them into a journal. And then we'll never do them again because we forget about them or we can't remember how to make them, or, you know, it just goes. So when I'm doing these interactive elements, which sometimes you need a few instructions for, or you might need a reminder about how to make, I'm going to keep an example of each of them and any notes that I need in this book. Now, what prompted this series is that I did a video a couple of weeks ago on a pop-up journal page. And I will show you the one I made. So it was this one, and I'll link the video below for this. Now you seem to really like this video and the ideas here, and it sort of sparked me thinking about what else we could do to add things that were just that little bit different into our journals. So I've popped that one in there, and what I'm going to do on the rest of this page is to add any notes that I might need or measurements, things like that. And I'm going to slowly add to this source book. Now it won't be, the pages are not going to be fully decorated. That's not what this is about. This is about a reference book, a sort of a how-to. I will get around to decorating the cover and the back at some stage. But for now, I'm just going to be starting to add things in. All right, so where we're going to go today, we're going to start with quite a simple little interactive element for our journals. And I saw this recently on a Facebook reel, I think. And if I can find the name of the Facebook page, I will pop it in the description down below. And I made one of these whilst I was on holiday. And this was sort of my trial one. And what this does... And this one, this was a good way to trial it actually, because the cardboard I used came from some packaging and it was actually a bit thick. But what happens is that you pull the tab down and you reveal the inside. Now, this, as you see, I've left as journaling space, but you could do all sorts of things. So let me show you some other examples. I've made this one just with a magazine image and some scraps of cardboard. Now if you can imagine, this piece is going to be stuck into a journal. You pull down and you'll see that that one flips a lot easier, and that's because this card is not quite as thick. All right, so there's that one. And you can, and this is quite simple, it's just the image and the card and the journaling space, but you can add on and you can do them in whatever orientation you like. Here we have a lovely little picture from the Edith Holden books, The Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. This one's going the other way, and you will see that I've added a little mat underneath with some paper I've made, sort of a leather look paper for a journal. So there you go. So really, and I will probably say this quite a lot, you're limited only by your imagination, because, for example, with this one, I've cut a little pocket and you could add that inside. You could add pictures inside. It doesn't have to be journaling space. You could clip a little notebook in, or journaling cards that you could take out. So really, you know, you can adapt this in many ways. All right. And again, depending on the picture that you choose for the front, you can tie it in with any kind of theme that you're currently doing. They can also be any size, and the size really is dictated by your image, and you'll see that in a minute when I make one. And that excuse me, that really is your starting point, is finding the image you want to use. So I'm going to get some things together, and without further ado, we'll show you how to make them. Okay folks, so this is the image I've chosen to use, and this is, I think it was originally, I would say, a notelet. It's quite thin, and I was going to cut the back off, and then I suddenly thought that actually that's going to enable us to add yet another dimension to this little flip out. So we're going to leave that as it is for the moment, but to all intents and purposes we're going to treat this exactly as if it was just a flat image like these. Okay, now the beauty of this project is you don't need to remember any measurements really. What you need to do is to measure the image you've chosen, add 1/2 inch each way, and cut a piece of card to that measurement. Now I've pre-cut all my card to show you. So there we go. So that's going to be my base for the image, and that is 1/2 inch bigger than the image, which means you get 1/4 inch on each side. All right. The next thing you need to do is to cut a second piece of card the same width, but 3/4 inch or 2 centimeters taller. Okay, so that's your base. I'm going to show you like that. There we go. All right, we're going to put these two to the side for a minute. We're going to start with the biggest piece. Now, what I would suggest at this stage is, if you want to ink your edges, and you'll see here I've inked all around these, this is the time to do them all. So I'm going to go and do that, and then I'll come back and we'll start putting these together. Okay, those pieces have all been inked, and we're going to take our biggest piece. Now you will see I have already folded this in half, but you're going to fold in half, crease, and I find it helpful to unfold, fold back the other way, and just burnish that down again, so you're getting a nice flexible crease. All right, now on the inside of this piece, which is the piece you're going to see, and given that that is the case, I'm going to just put the tiniest little bit of ink along that middle crease as well. You then need to take 2 pieces of paper to line this card. Now I'm just going to play with these because I did cut them from the same piece, and if I get them the right way round, they might line up. The pattern might line up. Oh, like that, I think. There we go. Now, what you choose to line your card with is entirely up to you. I've chosen a piece with a bit of pattern here, but I think the pattern is faint enough so that if you wanted to journal on it, you could. Here with this one, I've just used some scrap of white to make journaling space. What did I use in here? Yeah, again, a little scrap of cream in there. You could use coffee dyed paper, you could use lined paper. Really the choice is yours. If you don't want it to be journaling space, you could put additional photos in here, or as I say, you could put some pockets and things in. But you need to cut those 2 pieces of paper to fit. Now these I've cut quite large so that they cover most of the inside. You can cut them smaller to leave a border around the edge, whatever works for you. And then we're just going to glue those in. Now I'm gluing paper So I'm just going to be using a glue stick. And one of the things I would say from my sort of experiments with this little flip out is don't get things too thick. So your card, I would keep it at probably sort of 230 GSM as a maximum, which is probably what that little blue one is. When I made this in my journal when I was away, I was using some packaging from something we'd bought, and it was a bit too thick. And particularly if you're building up layers like this one, don't build up too many thick layers because it will impede the mechanism of your card. All right, so just something to bear in mind. Right, let's just get rid of that glue. I'm trialing my new mat here, which is great because it wipes off as opposed to paper. All right, so there's your middle bit. We're going to pop that bit aside for a minute. Now the next thing we need to do is to cut our image in half and fold the other piece in half. So let's do that one thing at a time. Crease that one in half. And again, because we want the flexibility, it's good to go back the other way as well. Okay, so we've got that. Now we want to put our image on here, but what I have found is that it is better to cut it in half. Now let me show you. This one was a very thin magazine image and I didn't cut it. But even with the very thin magazine image, we have got a bit of wrinkling across there. With this one, I cut it, it sits flat. To my mind, I prefer the look of it being cut. So before we stick this image on, we need to find the middle. That's the middle, and I'm going to grab my trimmer just so that I get it nice and straight. Middle point. There we go. Now I prefer not to ink those cut edges because I want that image to look fairly consistent when we put it together like that. Because this is slightly different, because it's going to have journaling space on the front as well, I am just going to go along that inside bit. Both pieces actually. There we go. But if you're just using a flat image, obviously you don't need to do that. And I have avoided that outside edge. Okay, so now we need to stick these on. All right, so we need to get them fairly central. Again, this is just paper, so I'm going to glue this. I'm just having a look at the back of that notelet there. Sold in aid of Save the Children Fund. Okay, there we go. So there were obviously some fundraising notelets at one stage. Now again, you want to keep your image as close to that central fold as you can. And if you're using glue stick or something like that that gives you a little bit of wiggle room, that's great. Okay, done the top bottom. Let's do the other half. This is where you just need to line this up. I'm just going to stand up so that I can look down on it like that. There we go. Alrighty, so we've got our image and we've got our back piece. So now I'm going to fold this down in half like that. No, I have to think about this. Oh dear. Yeah, that's right. So this folds down in half. This is going to stick onto here. Now, of course, our image piece is smaller. So when you stick this together, you want to line it up at the bottom. And a good way to do that is do what you can see me doing here and just tapping it so that the bottom and the sides, so that the bottom is lined up, and then you can check the sides are lined up. All right, but we need to put some glue on, don't we? Okay, so we've folded our inside bit down and our top bit down. I'm going to be using a stronger glue for this because I'm gluing card to card and I want this to stick really well. Now, really important thing, check that your image is up the right way. And then we're going to bring those two pieces together, lining up the sides. Tap them down so that they're both. And again, if your glue gives you just a little bit of time, once you're convinced they're lined up, good press down, you can crease those creases again. And then you will be able to open your image up like that. Now, I've used two different pieces of card here, and the underneath piece is lighter. What you will notice along these edges is you can just see a little bit of that pink. So you've got two options right now. And I'm going to try option one. You can grab your ink pad, just go down those edges again and see if you can disguise that little bit of pink there, which I have. The other option is just to that side is showing slightly still, so what I'm going to do is very carefully, it's the tiniest bit, but I can see it and it will irritate me. But that's just me. There you go, trim it off. A little bit of ink. And look, no matter how careful you cut your card, you do sometimes get those little pieces. All right, so our other, this is the basic mechanism. There we go. Our other thing that I quite like to do, and you will see I've done it on both of these, is to attach a little tab pull or something like that on there. Now I've got a box of page tabs here, so let's see if there's anything that will go with this card. Got a music bit, that doesn't look too bad, does it? That's a better one. Let's try that. Actually, I quite like that. What else have we got? I've got a green. Or brown. I'm going to ink the edges of that of the music one and see what it looks like. So just quickly do that. I'm going to do both sides. Let's have a look. Yep, that's cool. as I said, you can adapt these cards in whatever way you like. This is quite a deep tab. I'm just going to go halfway up there, but I will get it straight. Does that look straight? Okay, that'll do. Okay, and I'm going to do one more thing with this one. I've got a little bit of that green base card left, and I'm going to cut. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it in half. Now this project's great for using up your odds and ends of card. And I'm going to just cut across like that, and I'm going to use those just like that as just little corner tucks. So I'm going to grab my tiny hole punch. It won't work with them together, I know it won't. It's not that strong. I'm just going to sort of eyeball the middle and take the tiniest little notch out. And I'm going to glue those. So yeah, this project's great for using up your odds and ends in your pieces of card that you have left over from other projects. I mean, you could take this to the nth degree. You could add embellishments, you could add washi tape, you could add whatever you like. And if you have a go, I would love to see what you do. Like, what else would you add on? All right, so there we have little tuck spots just there. And again, you could put anything in there. You could put another journaling card, whatever you wanted in there. Now, I am going to show you, so this one, almost forgot. This one, of course, not only do we have our image and on the front, but we have, because it was a notelet, we have heaps of additional journaling space there. And then when we pull it down, we can journal in here, we can pop things in the little tuck spots there. All right, now there's one more thing I'm going to show you, and I'm going to show you with this one. So I'm just going to clear some space. And I'm going to bring in my source book. I'm going to laugh every time I say that because I think of, like, you know, sauce as in ketchup. Right. When you attach these in your book, you're going to be wanting to glue this side. But what the ideal thing to do is to grab a ruler, and you want to go just a little bit, maybe quarter of an inch, just up from that fold. Give yourself a little line across there, and you only want to glue this top part. And this is a bit trial and error, because what I've discovered, I found this works. Let me start that again. I have found this through trial and error, because if you glue right down to here, it doesn't really allow enough space for the mechanism to work properly. So give yourself that little bit of extra wiggle room when you glue. And then you're just going to glue that top bit down. Now I'm going to hold that obviously because the glue's not quite dry, and then there you go, there is your little flip out. So with this one we would glue this bit down, you have the flip out with the pocket, and you have the journaling space on the front. This one we would glue this side and it flips out the sideways. Alright, so there we go guys, a little easy interactive flip out. You can dress it up, you can dress it down, you can add extra bits in to suit yourself. So I hope that's been fun to watch. I hope it's given you some inspiration. As I say, if you do this, I'd love to see what you do. Tell me what else you'd add in or how you'd customise this to suit you. But for now, that's all from me today. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you for watching. Ka kite anō.